Welcome.
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 Welcome finally back to the Unhinged BookCast. This is a book podcast hosted by two book besties. I'm LJ.
And I'm Jess. Whether this is your first time joining or you've been here from the start, we are happy and thankful you are joining us.
Whether we're deep diving into thoughts and theories or just riding the vibes, we love discussing our current reads with each other and now with all of you.
Tonight we are talking about the War of Lost Hearts series by Carissa Broadbent with the start of book two, actually not the start of book two, we're in the middle of book two, Children of the Fallen Gods, chapters 27 through 58.
You can join our discussions chapter by chapter in the club on the Fable app without spoilers. We have one book club for our current podcast read and another for Book Besties Thursdays.
Book Besties Thursdays is more of a monthly book club where we read a book together and discuss it as a whole, just like a book club.
Make sure to follow, like, and subscribe on Facebook, Instagram, Fable, and right here on YouTube for new episodes, updates, and fun book-related content.
And don't forget to share. It helps us grow and reach new friends. But before we get started, we need to give a quick content warning.
We are reading romantic fantasy books, which tend to include violence and open-door romance.
Though our conversations tend to skirt these topics, we do frequently use naughty words that are not intended for little listening ears.
Let's get started. My kid just told me to be quiet after I just told him to get back in bed and be quiet. I'm so sorry. This is going to be fun tonight. Okay. So I actually had a lot of notes this time.
Yeah, you did.
I was surprised. I was actually shocked while I was putting them all in there. So I have Ezra. I don't think this is like in order, but we'll just go with it.
It's
I
okay.
have Ezra and Althena, King and Queen of Naraja, and
Mhm.
then their daughter Zora. She is a mixed baby.
Mhm.
Ways. And then we have Orin, which is Ezra's like what, second in command or something?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's like the second in command for Ezra. And then we have Sarid, which is Afy's mother's name.
Mhm.
Then what else did you have that I think I missed a couple of?
I had one thing. I've got a couple other characters, but I was thinking, okay, Orin. I knew I had one extra note on Orin. I forgot to put it in here. He's Ezra's half brother and like
Oh
second
yeah,
in
that's right.
command, but he's
That's
also
right.
Ezra's half brother and his lead war master.
Okay.
Yeah.
I knew there was like a
Um,
little bit more special with him, but
yeah. And he has purple
I
eyes,
couldn't go back.
which I think is important to note as well.
Oh, okay. I
Hmm.
thought all the Fae had strange colored eyes.
They do. But this is the first time we hear about one having purple eyes.
Mm.
And he's not full fae, he's like a half fae. Okay, and then we have Irene. So she's this lady, she's in her 60s ish, and she is with Atric Aveness, and which is what's her face's uncle, who's laying claim to the throne. What was her name? Anyways,
Um,
teenage
I don't
queen
remember. Yeah.
that's no longer with us
Oh,
anymore.
Tezrin.
Yes. Yeah, that's her
Yes.
uncle. So anyway, so Irene though is this lady that's like with him, and they noted that she has golden hair with silver kind of strung throughout it because she's just like with age, but her hair used to be like golden colored.
Hmm.
Also important, I believe, for later.
I think so.
And then not a new character or anything, but we found out Tisana's last name and it's can't say it. I can't say it, but we found it out.
Vitezic.
Vitezic. Oh, good job on the syllables.
Dude, I
That's what
seen
I couldn't
that and I
figure
was
out.
like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I
I
was
was
like,
like,
I
have we heard
know.
this before? Or are we
No,
just
I
like
don't think
throwing this
so.
in last minute? Like, what the fuck is going on
Well, and
here?
now I'm wondering if it's going to be like important that we know that
I think
moving
it is.
forward, and that's why we're finding it out
I think
now.
so too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, oh, and then I didn't realize that you had put Zora with the king and queen of
Oh
Naraja.
no, you're good. Yeah.
I think the only other thing I would add about her is that she's about 5 years old. I don't know
Yeah.
if she's important or not, but yep, that's it for characters. Much better than last week with our like laundry list of them.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay. So then let's do location, location, location.
Yeah.
So I have Marietta.
Hmm.
This is the mutual like location town, whatever, where Moth and Max have to fight the others at the end.
Hmm.
And I guess this is like town, like this town, like they can have people from all over, and like that was kind of like the big thing that like
It's
Max
almost like a neutral
realizes. A
grounds,
neutral
kind of.
ground. Yeah, I think that
Mm-hmm.
was the word
Yeah.
I was trying to find.
And that's also
Um,
where Yamara is at,
yep. Yeah, because he had just
right?
come
Mm-hmm.
out of that from the
Right.
last chapter chunk. Um, when he sees Moth and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
all that. And then Moss, poor friend, Gregory dies.
That was sad.
Yeah, I'm so sad.
No
And now
tears,
he's like,
but it
Moth is
was
all
sad.
like a sad little kid. And
I
it's okay.
know.
He's not a little kid. He's got to be like, what,
He's
17,
only
18 or something
13.
like that?
He's 13. He is a
13.
little
Oh,
kid.
Jesus. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, then I also have Narja, which we kind of talked a little bit about last time.
Naraja.
Naraja, that one.
Mm-hmm.
This is the forbidden, like, human Fae island type thing.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know if this is Love Island. Maybe this is where Love Island is. We don't
Hey,
know.
maybe.
There's some love made at Love Island. I think some love is going to be made at Love Island here shortly. But
Yeah.
um so that's we are there with Afy and the crew, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then I also put that in, I can't remember what chapter. Oh, I said we'll get there in chapter 53. But Althenia or oh, this one's gonna be hard. Athlena,
Alflena or something. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Althena
Uh-huh.
gives us a map. Well, we don't get
Uh-huh.
to see the fucking map, but she
We're
gives us
told about a map.
a map. But that is a whole ordeal that we'll get to when we get to
Yes.
chapter 53.
Yes.
So that's all I have for location, location, location. So what do you have for history? Because I don't think I had anything.
Okay. So chapter 28, we learn from Samarin that the Syrazin don't choose to be chosen, which we kind of actually that part we did not know. They don't choose to be like chosen for the Syrazin. The orders do tests to see who's qualified, and then that's just what they become. So they really don't have a choice in the matter. They do get like title
Mhm.
and respect, more pay, that kind of stuff, but they sacrifice a lot to be
Yeah,
that. Um, and then in 29, Zareth gives us a very brief account of how his mother gave birth to him alone behind a brothel. He was lowborn, handed nothing from the beginning, and has worked, slash, I would say killed his way up the ladder.
I would agree.
And then 35. So the prison, Ilizath, is Max says it's old, certainly older than the fall of magic, and it was not so much built as it was discovered. And it was discovered 400 years earlier by the orders. And everything in this prison is white, white, white. Just like what Roche keeps saying, white, white, everything's white, white, white. And that's how they describe this.
And then do you remember at one point where Max was like talking to Shay and he's like, I'll put you in the white room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, I guess
Yeah.
Elizath should have been another place we should have put on
Oh, yeah.
location, location, location. But
True. All right. And then chapter 39, Nura tries to give Max back this necklace that she has, and it was his mother's, and his mother had given it to her when they were home, her and Max, when they were teenagers, when they were home on leave.
mhm.
Um, So Nura had just found out that her grandmother no longer remembered who she was, and her grandmother was her last family that was alive. But this necklace is made of a gem called Morrigan's Ice. It's a white jagged crystal with little flecks of red throughout it. And I'm wondering if that's going to be important. Probably not, but wanted to take note just in case. Um, then 47, all of the Fey houses had cast Naraja into excommunications, marking the kingdom and all of its citizens as irreversibly tainted. Um, but the Sydney, the people from the House of Obsidian, led by Afy's father, when he was still just a young man, had been the only house to attempt to actually smite the Narajans completely, and more than half of their population had been killed by the Sydney. And it was that battle, in fact, and this is Afy telling either just telling us as the readers or possibly telling Cadwan, but she says it was that battle, in fact, that had earned her father his honor and her mother's hand in marriage, which we find out a lot more about that later too. Um, and then last one for me here, chapter 55. So her dad being Tisana's dad, this is like one tiny little tidbit of information that we get about him. Most likely died in the battle where Nyrazine was taken over and her mother fled. Her and her mother fled. And she was 7 when they fled. But she alludes to like looking back and seeing her father fighting when her and her mother were fleeing. And then she never saw him again. So she assumes he died during that battle.
Yeah.
I don't know if I believe it or not because she didn't see him die. But she hasn't seen him since she was 7.
Mm-hmm.
So she
Yeah.
did know him, at least as
Did
much as a
know.
7-year-old would remember.
It's just, I don't know. Kind of weird that we're getting the information later. It's just, I don't know. Kind of weird. We'll see what happens with that, though.
Yep.
So let's move on to plot points because we've got a lot to talk about.
We have a lot. Mm-hmm.
So, the first one I have is in 28 when Eslin dies from the, I can't remember what it's called, but the magic
Mm-hmm.
toxicity. And they like sculpt her face to look like Tasana,
Yeah.
and I just put you.
Yeah. So to elaborate on that a little bit, because we didn't talk about it in the last episode, but that's how our last chapter chunk actually ended, was the Zorakovs, or Kovs, whatever, which is one of the houses in Thrall. A lot of the family members and friends of the slaves that were saved from the Mikov estate are there in at the Zorakov estate. Anyways, these friends and family are sending letters over, and they're being treated terribly.
Yeah.
And the Zorakov family or house or whatever, they want Tasana dead. And
Hmm.
until they get that, they're treating these people really badly. So, yeah, this little plan that they concoct here, Tasana and Samarin, and I think Nura, maybe. I can't remember
Yeah.
if Nura was in, yeah.
Yes, there.
Is, yeah, Eslin dies. And so then Samarin uses his weird but kind of cool abilities and
Yeah, like morphing,
like flesh
sculpting,
flesh sculpting.
flesh
Ugh,
sculpting.
that sounds nasty. Anyways, they do that and basically mail them back, quote unquote, to Sana's head in hopes to quell them for a little bit anyway.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yes.
Um, okay, and then we go into chapter 30, which I still really don't know whether to put these chapters in history or plot points. So for now they're all in plot, excuse me. They're all in plot points. But we have an Aphie chapter. She receives a letter back from her father denying their request to go to Naraja.
Hmm.
Um, then we go to chapter 33, back to Max and Tasana. Max is back. Um, and he tells Tasana that he did a little digging into getting rid of the blood pact and all that kind of stuff, and then he tells her that they need to go and visit Ilizath, which is the prison,
Hmm.
and it's right outside of Ara. I don't know if you looked at the maps that I texted you
Yeah,
pictures of at all.
I did. And that, yeah, I think I have thoughts later. We'll
Mm-hmm.
get to those ones, but
Okay.
all right. So chapter 34, like this is where things kind of start to get crazy. So hang with us here.
Mm-hmm.
So I put down that like, okay, so before shit goes down, so this is what okay. So this is an AP chapter, and she's
Mm-hmm.
talking with Cadwan, and they're in this little tavern, and Cadwan mentions that it is not her dad, but her mother that has
Mm-hmm.
all the power, which is sus. Okay. And then that's also when she tells him that daddy said no to the exile island exhibition. Wow, that one. They're not
Yes.
allowed to go. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously they're gonna do it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I
I
have.
am I am so curious about Cadwan. I
Me too.
really think I like him. There's like a very,
I think
very,
he's gonna
very
die.
small, yeah, he probably is. There's also a very small part of me that like kind of doesn't trust him, but I'm pretty sure I trust him. I just don't know what to think about this guy. I love how he's so different from everyone else around him. And
Yeah.
and he knows more than he lets on. Like he's like what 13th in line for his crown. He ends up getting it because everybody else is gone.
He's just really
Um
smart, I think, and has like
and
common
yeah,
sense.
he like
You know how
knows
some
so
people are
much
really
stuff.
book smart and some people
Yes.
just have common sense?
Yes.
He's got common sense, right? Nobody
Mm-hmm.
else got it.
Yeah. Yeah, and then he tells her, he keeps calling her the Tyranness, and she's like, "No, I am not that. That's not my title." And he goes, yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then she begins to argue and say that she's like unsuitable. And he says, "To whom? Your father holds unmatched power in the Pales. Do you think that he could not have gotten them to accept you if he had wanted to? Do you think the other houses do not whisper about him? Like you said, he says that power was never intended to be his. It's your mother's and it is yours.
Mm-hmm.
He knows lots."
Sus.
And then
Sus.
continuing on in 34 here, while Aphie and Cadwan are talking, there's like this panic and a loud noise, an arrow wrapped in something. It's on fire with blue flame, and then there's an explosion. And then Cadwan is hurt, and he says, "Humans," before he like kind of blacks out, and the chapter ends.
Yeah.
And then we go, chapter 35, we go into I think it's a Max chapter. Um, and so
But
they
we're
go to
back with Max and
yeah, we're
Tasana.
back with Max here, and this is right the next chapter. So they go to see
Bardir.
Vardur, in the prison in Ilzath, and the prison seems to be like sentient.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds super creepy, super creepy.
It's like really quiet. I
Yeah, it's
can't
not
remember exactly
creepy.
where this is, but they say it's like it's the magic or whatever that makes it quiet.
Yeah, and it's not creepy in like a dark gothic way. It's creepy in like this really bright,
Clean,
overly clean,
hospital
like
type.
psych ward.
Psych
I don't
ward. That's the word
know.
I'm looking for. Yeah,
Yes,
I agree.
creepy place. Um, yeah, and it also seems to be sentient, which is also kind of creepy. And he is so Vardir is definitely the definition of a madman.
Hmm.
Um, he says, okay, so there's quite a bit that happened with him.
A lot. And
A
I like
lot.
didn't ever go back and like take my notes of a couple of these. Like I have
Yeah.
thoughts in here. So
Yeah, I read the whole chapter and then I went back and just like picked out the couple of things I thought stood out to me because I could have just put this entire chapter in the notes, I feel like.
yeah.
It's my note is still kind of long though, so bear with me here. Okay. So first he says, you can help me decipher what I wrote here too,
Yeah.
because I don't know if I got all of it in here, if I got it in the right order. But anyways, I think first he says two old friends have come to see him. And then later he says, "Oh, three old friends have come to see me." At first you think like
Yes.
the two old friends are okay, for me anyway, I thought he was talking about Riche and Max because he doesn't know
Hmm.
Tasana. Then later he like not much later, but later he says, "Oh, three old friends." So he has to
Hmm.
be talking about Tasana also at that point, I
I was
think.
thinking so too. Or are they like the third set of old friends to come see them?
Maybe.
To come to see him.
Could be. I
It
kind
was
of
kind
thought
of
that
my
too.
thought too.
Mm-hmm. Could
So I'm
be.
not sure.
Okay. And then Riche speaks straight through Tasana, straight to Vardir, and she shows him the veins in her arms turning black. I think it's
Hmm.
like Riche animating Tasana basically, and shows him these veins in her arm turning black. And then he is gets really excited about it. And he says how incredible it is
Yes.
that she was able to wield Riche's magic directly. She's like the first ever to do that.
Hmm.
And now, cryptically, he just says the portal is open to you.
Open to her. Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And he also says that she can reach into the deepest levels of magic now.
And it's like blood magic. He mentions at some point too.
Yes, that's right. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And then I'm trying to
Sorry.
figure out. No, you're good. Unless you have something else to add to that, because I won't figure out
No,
where I'm
no, no,
at,
you're
because there's
good. I
more
do,
from
but
him.
I no,
Add it later.
I put puzzle pieces together. That's all. I'll come to
Okay.
back to it in thoughts and theories.
Sounds good. Okay. Oh, and then he asks her some cryptic stuff about like if her and Max have tried combining their magic yet.
Hmm.
And then he says over and over how quote unquote they are coming. He keeps
Uh-huh.
saying they are coming, they are coming, they are coming to Tasana, um, wielding the magic. It's like once he realizes that she's wielded Roche's magic directly, then he keeps saying they are coming, they're gonna come, or whatever. So,
Mm.
um, and then I know they had more conversation. I feel like those were most of the high points of their
That
conversation
was
with Fredir.
most of what I got. Yeah.
Okay. Then all of a sudden the prison like starts in on them. The prison itself starts and turns
Yes.
on them.
I
And
didn't like this part. I don't know
no,
why.
they're
I was
like,
not
no, it
okay with
was,
this.
I was neither. It stressed me out a little bit. And also, like, yeah, I did not like this part. They're like running through the hallways, and it becomes like a haunted house, basically. Not in a creepy, like, gothic way. It's like all of a sudden they're running, but they're not getting anywhere. And they're down these long hallways, but they're not getting anywhere. Then all of a sudden they come across this wall. And all throughout this, the prison is basically speaking to them each individually and showing them these terrible visions of loved ones dying and things that have happened in the past and things that could possibly happen in the future and trying to pretty much keep them there.
Hmm.
Um, anyways, they get out barely, I feel like. The prison lets them out. If we're being honest, the prison lets them out. And right before it lets them out, the prison itself says, I believe to Max, is it to Max or to Sana or to both of them? I
I
can't
think
remember.
to both of them, but
Okay,
I
it
don't know.
says, you escaped me once, dot dot dot, you belong here. What difference does a few weeks make?
Okay, I do have another note. Okay.
Okay.
This is a quote. Um, okay, so she's asking him, so you are saying that our magic is blood magic. And then he
Mhm.
says, human bodies aren't built to withstand such power. This magic feeds on life. It will take and consume whatever life you can give it and more. The more life you give it, the more powerful it will be. Okay, I'm just kidding. I don't have anything else before we leave the prison, other than there was a
Okay.
lot in the prison.
There was, and I don't feel like it was even that long of a chapter, but there was a lot that happened there.
But yes,
Okay.
but they couldn't get out of the prison. It was weird and wild
It was weird. It was like stressful, but also annoying at the same time.
because you weren't quite sure what was going on,
Yeah.
or at
Okay, I
least it
knew
was
they
hard
weren't
for
going to
me to
get
decipher.
stuck. I was pretty sure they weren't going to get stuck, but I was also like, oh, could be a little plot twist. They get stuck in the prison.
But I don't know, it was that line of what difference does a couple weeks make that like really was like,
I can't
mm,
wait to hear what you think about that because now I'm trying to
oh,
think,
really? I
what
mean, it's
does that
obvious,
actually
but
mean? Oh, okay. Okay.
okay. Yeah, okay.
Okay, well, I
Never mind.
cannot wait to hear what is so obvious about it because it's not obvious to me. That is why I have you.
Okay, let's see what else you have.
Okay, all right, so we're gonna move forward to chapter 38 here. So we're back in an Aphie chapter. Um, so she wakes up after this attack. Last we heard, Cadwan was like blacking out, and last thing he says was humans. Then we have a couple Max and Tasana chapters. Then we come to chapter 38. So she wakes up, because she also kind of got like knocked out. Cadwan is
Well, it's
unresponsive.
because like I think like part of the building exploded like right at the end of the chapter.
Yeah, because
He
this
jumps on top
arrow,
of her to save her.
right, because this arrow that got shot in there, it was like an explosive arrow, basically.
Yeah.
And it explodes. Yes, exactly. Okay, so they're both kind of blacked out. She wakes up first. Cadwan is unresponsive at this time and very injured. Like on the brink of death, injured. So then she's like racking her brain, how am I gonna fix this or whatever? And then she goes, well, I hope this thing works. I hope this works. And she does her vampire thing, her magic sucking vampire
Yeah.
thing, um, which is really interesting. So she takes just one swallow of his blood, and it hits her real hard and really fast. And she says how it feels like a song she didn't realize she remembered, oddly familiar and oddly right. Um, and she says that she kind of like blacked out, and then when she opened her eyes again, it was like she was seeing color when she had once only seen black and white, except color was quote unquote life. And then she basically commands life back into him using his own magic. And then he comes back, which is interesting because we haven't really seen a lot of what his magic is up to this point. And that's always something interesting to me in the books, is what everybody's
Hmm.
magic is and what it does and whatnot. Like we see him that one night like wielding a like messing around with a ball of fire and stuff. And then all of
Hmm.
a sudden she's like, this guy's like really freaking powerful. Like he can basically bring people back to life. So, um, Anyways, it also seems like they are now kind of like connected through his magic. So they're fighting back the humans. So he's good now. They're fighting back. And there's this human man that comes in. He's got white skin, white long hair, and a scar from the corner of his eye to his jaw. He starts fighting them. She ends up getting impaled by a spear. And then Cadwan's over there using like vines and earth and stuff to fight. They're able to get this human guy pinned, and they try to ask what he's doing, or why he's doing all of this. And at the same time, like right before they start interrogating this guy, Ishka just comes over and like kills him.
Yeah.
And then Aphie goes down. And that's how the chapter ends.
Yeah.
So, okay, chapter 40. So, I am not going to read all of this because there's a whole bunch here, but in chapter 40, so it's page 287 in my book, there's this whole, it's another one of those, it's just on a chapter. It's another one of those vision slash, like, she's, I don't know, just the weird things that she gets, where she's
Mm-hmm.
like looking through, we assume, or I think we're led to believe it's through Richet's eyes. I don't think we ever get full confirmation. Sometimes we do. This one particularly, though, she says how she dreamt through a wall of black. She says it was slick like glass or wet stone, and it stretched across my entire vision. And then there was a silhouette reflected there, one that never quite came into focus, not even when she came close enough to press her palm to its surface. So first of all, like my first thought is that makes me think of obsidian. Um,
Of white stone?
no, it's black, a wall of black.
Oh,
It was
or
slick,
glass.
slick like glass or wet stone.
Okay.
Um, which is kind of how Aphie describes like their pails or whatever their like weird like obsidian cliffs and stuff that are around their
Yeah.
palace look like. So that was the first thing I thought of when I read that. Um, and then she says someone was calling to me using a name I did not remember, speaking in a language I did not understand, a ghost that remained forever out of reach. And then it says, like the tall grass against my hand, forward, backward again. And then in the weird little quotation, like brackets that indicate Richet speaking in our book, it says, you asked me once what I missed, then I did not understand what you meant. I did not understand what it was to miss. So it makes me think that this is a Richet.
This is a Rocher memory that she's giving to Tasana.
Right.
Oh my
So
God. Okay.
this is
I've got this
where,
figured out.
okay. Yeah, this one was interesting to me mostly because it started with like this wall of slick, wet, black stone or whatever. Um, and then she says, or Roche says in this memory, she says, but now I see to misses to mourn, and I know that I mourn, but the greatest tragedy is that I cannot remember why. I just know that once I was whole, and now I'm a collection of missing pieces.
Hmm.
Um, and then further on, she says, sometimes though, or Roche says, sometimes though I catch the edge of it, like a snag at the end of a fraying thread, I think that I remember the sun. It keeps going, saying how it remembers the rain and how it may have known the touch of another soul. Just all of these human-ish type memories
Time. Yeah.
that Riche has. Um, and then sorry, I keep saying she. I just keep imagining Riche as like this weird female creature.
It says
Slightly,
it's like
slightly
childish and stuff like
childish,
that.
but
And it's
human.
definitely
Yeah.
female in
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
the narration.
So then it goes on to say, um, yeah, so but even these things are a shadow of a shadow. Perhaps they are not my memories. This is still Richet's little bracket things. Perhaps they belong to another. Then it says back to, I guess you would say Tasana's thoughts. It's not the brackets anymore, but it says the warm touch was gone. Suddenly there was pain, a flash of white, 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 a fragment of golden hair, a glance of mossy green. Someone watching, someone calling, someone searching, and I had felt Riche recoil from terrible memories, but above all this tenderness is the thing that scared it most. Um, and then it
Oh my God.
says,
Okay.
why? I asked. It didn't understand. Why do you fear the thing you want most? And then Riche speaking says, my fear is not the fear of danger. Tisana says, then what? Riche says, perhaps I am too far from what I once was. Its voice was quiet, childlike. Then Riche says, perhaps I do not wish to be found. And then she wakes up. So,
Mm-hmm.
thought that was quite interesting.
It is very interesting.
Yeah. So, what I just read, that's how chapter 40 starts. Then there's like
Yeah.
one of those like breaks, like little creative looking little lines in between
Yeah.
paragraphs. Okay, so it ends with the vision. Then it moves forward. Okay, so then we go to where Dasana is captured by Atric and this Irene chick that we talked about in
Mm-hmm.
characters. Um, remember this Irene chick, she used to have golden hair. She still has golden hair, but there's like silver in it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was part of Riche's little memory vision thing that she just had. So anyways, Tisana is restrained, I guess. They have like these tattooed stratagrams into her arms that chain her magic. And then they say that she's not the one they really want, but they have to use her to get to the one that they do want. So
Mm-hmm.
we never actually find out who that is. I'm assuming it's Max or Zareth, but probably
Yeah.
Zareth.
Probably Zareth because
Mm-hmm.
Atric is the whatever of daybreak or oh
He's
shit.
he's Cesrin.
Cistern's uncle, the rightful heir,
Right,
and he's
yes.
also the leader of the daybreak
Oh, he
on in the
is?
orders. Yes. It says that like a little bit later in the chapters.
I don't think I know. I don't think I ever realized that. I
Yeah.
just thought
I
that Zareth
realized
was
I
like the
didn't take a
arch
lot of
commandant
notes
over
kind of here
all
in the
of it.
middle.
Okay. Yeah, this is like my chunk here in the middle
Okay.
of stuff that you didn't get. Okay. All right. So, anyways, then we move forward to chapter 42. Okay, so she's still Tisana. This is a Tisana chapter. She's still captured
Mm-hmm.
by them here. Okay, so she wakes up again because at some point between chapter 40 and 42, she blacks out again. She wakes up again on like this table in a white room with Irene, who remember has golden hair, standing over her. And then Irene says a bunch of stuff. I didn't take notes about what she said. It was important, but also like I think you kind of get the gist of what's going on
Yeah.
here.
They're
Um,
trying to take Riche out of her.
right, exactly. And so Irene puts a little cut in both her hand and Tasana's hand, and then she goes into Tasana's mind with her magic with the goal of ripping out Riche.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tasana gets like fragmented images during this. And these images, there's like a flash of golden hair and white, white, white. And there seem to be like Riche's memories, I guess, again, visions, memories, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then purple blood spilling over marble floors. Then the ground opening and the skies on fire. Then she goes into this meadow place that she went to before when she was at the Mikov estate when she was losing control.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and she realizes that Max's magic is there too somehow, along with herself, Riche's, and Irene. Um,
Mm-hmm.
then she realizes magic consumes life energy, and while hers is currently cut off, thanks to these tattoos, Irene is feeding Tasana her own life energy unknowingly. So Tasana convinces Riche to stop like thrashing about and panicking because Riche's so full on panicking now
Mm-hmm.
and calm down. And then they go into Irene's mind instead. And then through a series of events, she wakes up. She wakes up and Riche is able to like rot these tattoos off of her. And then in a couple chapters, we get Max's point of view of what's going on here in this chapter
Yeah,
as
but she
well.
ends up able to like kill Irene that way.
Yep. Yep. And then yeah, Riche is able to like get rid of these magic binding tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then chapter 45. Atric is dead. He's gone. And the war is seemingly over.
He more or less surrenders after kind of like some battle
That's
stuff,
right.
and then chapter 51, Zareth's war is over party is going
Mm-hmm.
on now, right? And so like Max mentions how Tasana always dresses like power. Like she's very
Mm-hmm.
picks her outfits appropriately, kind of like we did with the
Makes a
ball. And now
statement.
this
Mm-hmm.
one, she kind of very much matches um Max's outfit. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I guess like Slay Queen, or if we're still saying that, I don't know.
Yeah.
So then Nura comes and gets them. This is also chapter 51, and they have this like little meeting with Zareth, right?
Right.
And he's obviously going mad in the head or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was one other,
And he looks like
and
absolute
he's
dog shit.
absolute dog shit. Um, he's not doing so hot. And then okay, so I have, just because I'm like kind of obsessed with this Apple thing now.
Yeah, I
There
picked
was
up on
another
that
Apple
too.
quote, and so it says, I think him and Tasana are having this conversation about how this is like transactional or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and their agreements, right? But he says, but it isn't transactional, is it, Tasana? It doesn't matter what you trade away. And I did trade it all away, all of it, just to get that prized apple with the world carved into
Mm-hmm.
its flesh. His smile soured, and then he glanced over his shoulder at the partygoers, only to find that it's fucking rotten inside. So I
Mm-hmm.
thought that was interesting. Also 52. So Zareth mentions that his war is not over. And this is in regards to Tasana talking about like her contract has been fulfilled now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that was my alarm. So this solidified for me that both stories are happening at the same time.
Okay, so you don't think that Aphie's
I
stuff
no
is
longer think
past?
this is past. No.
Okay.
So chapter 52. So Tasana basically convinces Rashay to kill Zareth, knowing that it will end her as well because Zareth has
Mm-hmm.
started attacking Max. Um,
Mm-hmm.
because it basically would get Tasana to agree to continue doing shit, or to get Tasana to do something because he's fucking crazy.
Yeah. Yep. And this is where I was like, so he is gone, and then for a quick second you think that Tasana's not going to actually follow him in death.
Yep.
That there's a chance that this curse that he supposedly put on, yeah, mixing their bloods or whatever so they're connected,
Was not real.
was not going to happen, and then she's gone too, like seems to die, but obviously there's like a whole nother book coming and she's a main character, so we know that she's not going to die at this
Right.
point, but
Or it would
she's
be
out.
dumb if she did. But I
Yeah.
was kind of starting like in my head, I was like, are we gonna get like ghost chapter type shit? Or
Oh, I'm glad
yeah,
we
I don't
didn't
know.
because I'm not into that kind of stuff,
I
so.
know. Yeah, I wasn't sure about it. But I was like, maybe. Um, so then chapter 53, we are um
AP chapter.
yes, this is an AP chapter, and we've already had like this conversation earlier chapters with whatever his name is, Ezra and
Ezra. Mm-hmm.
Athelina or whatever, and basically they're like, no, we don't really want any part of this or whatever. And then their daughter comes in and like interrupts him, and he's like, we're done, like you can stay here, like we'll be amicable with you, like you can totally
Mm-hmm.
stay here, hang out,
But
whatever.
we know
But
nothing and we're not going to help you, kind of
yeah,
thing.
we're done.
But you can tell that Athelina kind of knows more than she's letting on during that meeting.
During that meeting. And then so this is in chapter 53. So Athelina comes in later, visits the A team after
Mm-hmm.
hours in this little like suite that they're staying in. And then so she has info on the motherfucking map, bro. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I have this quote. It says, Miss claim that it marks hidden pools of magic, specific places where it is stronger, or perhaps where magical artifacts are hidden. The stories
Mm-hmm.
vary. Also, this like start this put so much shit together. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I know you
And
had a little
she,
bit more like
yeah,
on
so I
that.
had that, and then also she tells them that like the human lands are locked in this large battle for power currently, like at the same time this is going on.
Three,
And yes,
three
and
of
she
them.
says that many are left homeless because of it. And then four
Mhm.
months earlier is when these humans seek, this group of humans come and seek refuge there in Naraja. And then that's when it turns out that they're trying to steal this map for power. this map in search for power, in their search for power. And also in their search for power, they try to steal this map, and they also go after one of her other daughters.
Mhm.
Zora is not their only daughter, apparently, so goes after their other one of their other daughters. And when she finds them, when Athelina finds them, um, they're like,
It's two of them. It's a Voltane and a Solary.
yes, and they're like holding her daughter down. It was kind of brutal. Um, and they're trying to get her blood, and they're like talking
Yep,
these
they've cut
spells
both
over
of her
her.
wrists,
Mm-hmm.
um, and doing a spell, and that's
Yeah,
what ended up
they're
killing
doing
it.
like this spell, and so later through like interrogation, I guess they captured these one of these guys or both of them. And it said that Fey blood was powerful if it combined with humans, but like not like breeding with humans, like physically human to Fey
Yep,
contact, or if it's ingested, and that half-breed blood was the most powerful for all of their purposes.
yep. And then so I put in like this is like from Athlena or whatever. It says they were doing some spell, something to harness her, to turn my sweet child into something dot dot dot, and she cuts off.
Mm-hmm.
And my question for you is, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Maybe.
You did not sound as excited about that as I am.
Maybe I'm so back and forth on this because my thinking was Rocher, like they're trying to create they end up creating this Rocher thing.
You are not thinking what I'm thinking.
What are
Got it.
you thinking?
We will get to it in thoughts and theories. So let's
Fine.
keep moving so we can get there.
Okay.
So also in 53 with this, she has this is Ethelina, she has this letter from this like coalition of human nations or whatever.
She stole
And
it
it
from them. She
yeah,
found it and stole it from them.
yeah, and it states that there will be a meeting soon on an island to the south off the coast.
Mm-hmm.
And this is again solidifying for me that I think these are running at the same timeline or very roughly. And I think that island is going to be the jail, the prison.
Yes, me too. That's the only other island beside Naraja, at least in the maps that we see right
And
now.
I think that is how one of them is going to get stuck there.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Gonna be imprisoned.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
What else do you have? It sounds like you have that one.
I had all the same stuff as you as far as that goes. Um, so then we go into chapter 54 though. So this is a Max chapter. And he um immediately like stratograms himself and Tisana to Imara. Because like when okay, so Tisana goes down when Zareth goes down.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when Max like grabs her and then he stratograms them to Imara's place. And she explains that she could possibly save her, that he could possibly save her by combining their magics so that the curse has something to pull from besides her life. And then he does it.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And I think this is like kind of what Vardur was talking about, combining their
yes,
magics.
I think
Yeah.
so. So then here's what I was talking about earlier with Orin, and I don't know if it connects at all or not, but in chapter 55, okay, so like in this chapter, Tasana is in this state between life and death, I guess you could say. And she's basically talking to Riche, and this is the first time that Riche has a little bit more of a face. Not fully, but
Mm-hmm.
a figure, a face, like she can kind of make out some features. And she says that Riche has violet eyes. And the only other person that we've heard of so far that has violet eyes is Orin. And then yeah, I guess yeah, she's able to make out more of her features. But the violet eyes thing stood out to me because this was shortly-ish after we had met Orin, and he's the first one we see with violet eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep. And kind of in this, apparently Crochet dies. to save Tisana.
Right. So you kind of think that like Max is the one who's going to bring her back. But he
Or
realizes he's too far away. Like he's there with her in this world, like they've combined their magics in this like between life and death place that they're in. Um, and he was able to basically keep her alive enough to do what she had to do, which is while she's having this conversation with Roche. And then Roche is like, I realize now kind of what you're saying about emotions, about humans, about life and death and all these different things. And I'm willing basically to give up my life force, whatever that's worth, to save yours.
Mhm,
And then so this curse, this blood bond curse that Zareth put on her is like a life-sucking curse, and so it sucks the life of Roche out instead of Tisana's, and Tisana is able to come back, and Roche is supposedly is gone now.
mhm.
Hmm.
Yep. Okay. So let's get into something less sad. Chapter
Hmm.
56. Welcome to the Murray Show. In tonight's episode, AP finds out that Daddy is not the father. So I'm pretty sure we hit this a little bit in history, but I don't think we ended up hitting this much in
No, I
history.
didn't. I didn't because I knew
Um,
it was a plot point thing.
yes. So Orin is having
Hmm.
this conversation. He catches her outside and he's talking to her about her mom, which what did we say it was Sarid? Sarid
Hmm.
had spent some time in Naraja.
She's like from Naraja.
Yeah, I think so. Yes. And they were childhood. No, I think they were childhood friends because they were from the Feylands.
Okay.
And then it was a whole thing with that the king, like Tasana's dad did
Hmm.
about doing exiling them, right? And
Right.
mom didn't
He
agree with it. So mom is spending time in Naraja with Orin, and I can't remember what the line was, but basically he said that like she went home pregnant.
See, I got that a little, I read that differently that she basically, well, I don't know if she was from Naraja necessarily, but she grew up there mostly, and her and Orin were friends, childhood friends. And then he alludes to the fact that they
But
were a lot
Orin
more than friends.
and Ezra are the Fae, and they used to be wherever.
Well, Orin's a half brother though to Ezra. And I might just, I've got the book here. I might just go back and read it real quick. But
Okay, welcome back to the Murray Show. Can you please give us the evidence?
okay, you are right. I read it wrong. So here's what it says. Um, so her and Orin are having, AP and Orin are having this conversation. And so first it says, Orin says that Sarid was a childhood friend of mine long ago, and she lived here for a time. And then he says further down, um, Sarid did not agree with the exile that was handed down to Naraja. She did not agree with many positions in the House of Obsidian. So you're right, she was in the House of Obsidian. So she lived there for a time, then she went to the House of Obsidian. So it sounds like she was married to Afy's father,
Mm-hmm.
not father. And then it says that she did not agree with many positions in the House of Obsidian. She fought them for a long time, but then she got tired of fighting, so she came here. So she came back. You're right. So
Mm-hmm.
she came back. Um, and then oh, and then he says yes. Sarid was pregnant when she was taken, and not rescued, not left, taken, as if she'd been kidnapped, as if my father had dragged her back to the Pale. So you're right. Had locked her up in a black
Mm-hmm.
glass until her mind broke, until she was just a shade of dot dot dot. Um, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
okay. So you're right. So she was there for a little bit. Then it sounds like some details that we don't know, but she did end up in the House of Obsidian married to Afy's father, not father. Then she was
Mm-hmm.
trying to fight against him, so he's really against the Neurosians. She's fighting against him on it, and then goes back there, ends up pregnant by Orin, then her father comes.
We don't know by Oren yet, but I'm gonna tell
It's
you on
pretty
the Murray
clear.
show, he's
Pretty
trying to like
clear.
lay it down, and she's like, "Fuck this," and throws a tantrum because she
Yes.
has daddy issues now, which kind of turned me
Yep.
off. But
Yep. Oh, I thought it was super interesting. I was like, huh, okay.
her tantrum about it is what was like, "What the
Oh,
fuck."
that's obnoxious. I hate that kind
And
of
that's
stuff.
where we leave her in this section
It
too,
is.
is
Mm-hmm.
running back to Cadwan, and
Yep.
she's basically like, "I'm gonna go fuck him because I'm sad."
Yep.
And I'm like, what the fuck? That is so like, I don't know, daddy issues.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But it also in that part does say, Oren does say like, think about because she's like, no, that can't be true. That can't be true. And then Oren's
Yeah,
like,
no.
hold on, think about your mom. What is she like now? And then she thinks back and she's like, oh, she's like this half mad woman who's basically kept in a corner and is
Mm-hmm.
silent all the time. And then she thinks
Mm-hmm.
about how the only time she actually ever saw her mother use her magic was the night that her father, not father, came and tried to kill her. And then her mother used her magic and
Mm-hmm.
stopped him, basically. And she was like, her magic was way more powerful than anything I've ever seen, more powerful than my father's magic, even. Um, and then she
So
thinks
then
about,
going
go ahead.
backwards though, and Cadwan saying that mom has all the power,
Yep,
sus. How
yep,
does he know this? How does he know all of this?
exactly.
Also, and like he was so chill about like, and like he's offering their protection. We didn't talk about this either, but like just the meeting they had with the Naraja King and Queen, he's talking about like I still offer like my protection or
Hmm.
whatever and stuff like that. Like even though like you may not agree to work with us or whatever kind of thing. I can't
Hmm.
remember exactly the conversation, but then the others are like, what the fuck? But he's like so like about this, and so that's
Hmm.
also super interesting too.
Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
Yep, yep,
Yep.
yep.
Yep. All right. I want you to read your 58 note for where we leave like Tasana and Max, and then I'll read my
Okay.
58 note for where we leave Tasana and Max.
Okay. So, yeah, so our final chapter here. Chapter 58, basically they as in Tasana and Max are going back home to Max's cottage. 2 weeks rest, then the war in Thrall begins.
Which is what you would think I probably would have put. But I put back home to the cottage, probably for an act three makeout session again. And I definitely mean more than a makeout session. And it's going to be boring
Yep.
and slow. I'm
Hmm.
more worried about the like, I hate my daddy sex. Like, that's going to be more interesting, I think.
Yep.
But
Agreed.
I'm pretty sure we're going to open this book again to chapter after chapter of some weird situations going on.
Yeah, probably right.
Probably right. All right. So quotes and honorable mentions. I had one this time. Okay.
Okay.
Chapter 27. This is when Max, I don't remember what he's doing. I think he's trying to find or oh, this is okay, so Moth is
Hmm.
gonna go hang out with his friend George, right? Go drinking with his friend George,
Hmm.
and basically they're going to like a titty bar or something. I don't know.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so Max goes, here's the thing about teenage boys. They're stupid. And I was dead. I'm like doing laundry or something, like trying to get my teenager and pre-teenager to stop being dipshits. And it was just like the timing of it was the greatest thing ever. And this might be my favorite quote from a book ever.
Oh my gosh.
Here's the thing about teenage boys. They're stupid.
They're stupid.
Straight like that. And I loved it.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Did you want to put anything in Love Island?
No, I mean just obviously Cadwan. I said it last time, but for sure Cadwan and Aphie.
Cool. I
Yep.
like it. I'm on the same track. So, okay,
Okay.
let's get into thoughts and theories. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
I can go first because I know I have hardly anything, and you're gonna connect
I
all
have
the red lines for
paragraphs.
me. So
Uh-huh. Okay, so you go ahead.
I did take a couple notes this time, and by a couple, I mean like a couple.
Oh,
So,
okay. Not my
um,
couple.
no, no, not close, not even
Okay.
close. Okay, so we did actually kind of already hit on it a little bit, but the whole thing about Aphie's mother. how she's like not well. Afy's power is her mother's, and her father apparently has it because of her mother. Um, yeah, I, I I don't know where else I was going with that. Apparently, I wrote that note down, but we did talk about it a little bit already.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, there's something interesting about her mom. But I guess the whole thing about I did like how she realizes what Cadwan is saying is true, that she is the Tyrannus. Like whether
Mhm.
she believes it or not, she is. And the whole thing about like how her father, not father, was saying how her blood is corrupt. She always thought it was this like quote unquote curse in her blood, which I don't think is actually a curse. She's just something totally different.
Yeah.
And I think it has maybe a little something to do with this, what the humans were trying to do with Athelina's daughter. Maybe. I don't know. There's so many things going on. I am freaking loving this book so much. And I feel like I take a lot of good notes, but I'm kind of vibes reading also at the same time here. And just, it gives me a headache to try and figure out how all these red strings connect. So go ahead because my brain's not working. You go ahead, connect these strings for me because I feel like some things we're on the same page here and some things you're going to tell me and I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, you're so right. It is how that connects. So tell me how things connect, Leslie. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, first I have it was like an honorable mention
Okay.
that I totally forgot about. So this is when Tasana and Zareth are like basically fighting. Um and she goes, "Look at me, I command," and they all obeyed. So everybody in the
Mm.
room obeyed
Mm-hmm.
when she says that. So I was like, "Whoa, power."
Mm.
That she's like now stretched out to everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it says, "I have won Zareth Aldris's war," I said, "and now I will win ours. We are the children of fallen gods and
Right. I
lost
did pick that up.
empires." Oh, wait, no, I think this is when she's talking to everybody. I can't remember.
When she goes back to the Thrall camp,
Yes.
basically. Mm-hmm.
After, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
these are like her standing words, right?
Yep.
We are the children of fallen gods and lost empires. We are the memories of bones in the plains, and we are more than they ever thought we would be. So, because we're always
Mm-hmm.
kind of like looking for like where the phrase for
The title of the
the
book.
title of the book. And
Yep.
last time we got it like right at the end from Roche,
Mm-hmm.
when she said you are the daughter of no worlds,
Yep.
which I thought was interesting. And then now we have, and now I will win ours. We are, so like as in like the slaves and just like the people, more or less just the people,
Mm-hmm.
right? We are the children of fallen gods and lost empires. And
Mm-hmm.
so I wanted to put that in there just for thinking, but it could just be what we decided to name the book too. It could not be
Yeah,
much
I was
more to
undecided
it.
on that too.
Um, this has to be on the same timeline. I'm now convinced that this is on the same timeline. Afi and
Okay.
Tasana are gonna meet. My thought now that I'm connecting dots is they are going to meet at this meeting that is going to be at the prison.
Elizath. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And Nura is already going to be there or like going there. She's going to be part of this coalition of humans or whatever that's going to be there,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, because Nura's now taking over for Zaldris. So that means she's going to be like basically the queen of the world. She's trying to
Mm-hmm.
be the queen of the world, and she's always been on this, and I think something's going to happen there when they meet, and I think it's going to be Max is going to get trapped in the prison.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be Max. I think he's going to get left there. And I think that Tasana, because remember how like Vardir or whatever, he's like talking about like the portals and like stuff like that too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The portals make me think of like the magic pools,
Yeah.
magical artifacts and stuff like that
Yeah.
Athenia is talking about. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, okay. And I need this freaking map. Okay. I need this freaking map. Um, and I've also wondered like these pools, if those are the portals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or can they become portals because these pools are like the deepest levels of magic that like the
Okay.
Sarazen and stuff like that can reach.
Uh-huh.
I wonder if those are those pools and we can like jump through them.
Okay.
And you know how like if you use that much magic, it can like give you madness or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if that was part of what was going on with Zareth as well. What if he was bouncing around doing all this bullshit in the Phalanx and here and doing all this shit, right?
Mm.
And that's how he was bouncing through it, but he was going through these portals more or less
Okay.
because he knows about it and he has this map. And if she took this map or found this map, I can't remember. I think she found it from, it's a very secret map that they have. Oh, the humans wanted the map. That's why they
Mm-hmm.
came there.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder, I don't know. But so I'm thinking this is all kind of like happening at the same time. And then my other thought was about the other child from the king and queen of Najra, right?
Mm-hmm.
Najar, whatever it is.
Naraja.
Okay, Naraja. So, so two Voltaine or a Voltaine and a Solitaire, right? Whatever,
Solary.
Solari. So they come in. They unfortunately slit the child's wrists, and they are taking blood from each side of her wrist. There's blood everywhere, right? Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
that what is ultimately kills the child. So I don't think they made Riche. I okay, yes and no, but I think
Okay.
her blood, not combining it with anything. I think her blood is the life of Riche.
Yeah, okay.
And I think that is what they were like injecting into people was this child's blood.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think Riche is the small child,
Okay, that makes sense.
and it makes so much sense in everything Riche was saying, and like how she was always childlike, and how sometimes it was
Yeah.
tantrumy, and how she was asking what love is, and how she was saying about how what was it? About like mourning. She thinks she understands what she thinks she mourns or something like that, or
Yeah.
that she has
Mm-hmm.
grief
Mm-hmm.
and she doesn't know why. And then like I can't remember. Oh, it was we were just talking about it, but it was like that dream that you were saying when we think that you were reading parts of it, right?
Right.
Um that like kind of solidified it for me that this is like her remembering her death and
Mm-hmm.
living and that sort of thing.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure Roche is the other child.
Okay, that
And
does make
that's
sense.
why
Mm-hmm.
probably the humans are also going to go after Neurot. Like I think like our end battle is going to be in what is it?
Naraja.
Naraja.
Okay.
Because I think that's what like Nura and whatever they're gonna have to take over is they're gonna need like more Roche, and that's why she was pissed off, and that's why you're saying
Yeah.
like it's got to be the combination of the blood, but that would make sense if it's the combination of a blood that was like organic, you know what I mean? Not just
Yep.
like mixing Fey blood and I think that's what they probably Zareth was doing. And that's why Cadwon found like those rotted Fey and humans
Yeah.
because
Okay.
we were just taking their blood and mixing it. And that's why, and like I remember like in the beginning of the first book, and Zareth takes her into a room, right? And it has bosses
Mm-hmm.
in one of them. And there's
Mm-hmm.
other people around, or no, I think it's when she goes in to get Roche. And there's
Mm-hmm.
other people around, and they just not sure, they just look like vegetables, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's what was happening, and that's what was killing them is that they were doing this wrong. They were mixing Fey blood and human blood instead of we find out with what I'm gonna say is the child, which is Roche, is that it is just
Mm-hmm.
already organically combined. And
Okay.
that is what makes this magical power, which is Roche.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's my thoughts and theories. So ta-da.
Nice. I like it.
Okay.
I like it. Definitely not the track I was on because I'm kind of still on the track that it's like past, that the AFI stuff is past.
It could be, but I'm almost convinced that this is same timeline. And yeah. Okay. We hope you all have enjoyed this episode and reading and discussing with us. Next week, we'll be continuing the series with Book 2, Children of Fallen Gods, chapters 59 through the end of the book.
If you can't wait until next week to continue talking about the War of Lost Hearts series, jump over to the Fable app and discuss with us spoiler-free chapter by chapter.
And as always, buddy reading any book with Book Besties is so much fun.
So make sure to share our podcast with your book besties, and if you don't have any book besties,
then become one of ours. And until next week, fill those drinks with ice.
and your books with spice.
Bye.
Bye.